See the bag under my eyes? Yeah, it's been a crazy couple weeks, but it's been really fun, so let's get into it. Hi, welcome to Coffee for One. This is your host, Daniel Manzo. Here we're going to talk about life, pop culture, and the friends that forced to talk to me. So grab a cup. Let's talk. Hey, welcome to episode 3 of Coffee for One. My drink of choice today is water because it's been a crazy couple of weeks. Let me take a sip. Refreshing. Anyway, you guys made it. This is episode 3. Thank you so much for the support in episode 1, episode 2. Keep streaming, keep listening. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe. If you're on Spotify, follow and like and leave a review. And we'll get to Apple Podcasts someday soon. I promise. Okay, so it's been a crazy couple of weeks. I know for sure, for me at least. If it hasn't been for you, lucky you. But it's been kind of crazy for me. So we're going to get into it. Episode 3, we're going to talk about a lot of really cool stuff that happened recently. Like I said, crazy couple of weeks, but definitely worth it. So I'll catch you guys up to speed. You probably saw it on my TikTok, on my Instagram, that Matthew and I went to Arizona it was like 2 weeks ago. We went to go watch Florence and the Machine for her Everybody Scream tour. It was amazing. It was so cool. Like top 3, top 5 musician of all times for me, and a childhood dream. I've been listening to her since I was 12, 13. My friend in middle school put me on her, and I think the first song I've ever listened was All This in Heaven too, and then Dog Days Are Over, and oh my gosh, I've been a fan ever since. She's awesome, she's amazing, I love her. She's the GOAT for me. I love her so much. She's like top 2, top 3 for sure for me. I love her. It was a really cool trip. It was a lot of fun. We went to Arizona. It was hot AF. It was like 104 degrees, but I did get the tan. So if you see like some of my rings that are not on, like this one, you might see a little bit, but there's some rings, pardon the audio, but like you can see like the tan on my hand. So yeah, there's that. But it was a lot of fun. It was such a cool show. Like her voice, of course, is amazing. She sounds like an angel singing. Like she's awesome. But we were on the pit, so we're GA. Really cool. The line was not that bad. Our hotel was like walking distance, like 2-3 minutes from there. It was awesome. So I think the dancers were the same dancers from the Everybody Scream music video. They're all dressed in like this witchy outfits, and it was very witchy, very spooky vibes. It was cool. If I was never part of a cult, I was definitely part of a cult then. It was really cool. Florence, her outfit was very simple too. A beautiful red dress, and it had like a red choker. We'll put some pictures of this for you guys to see, but it was amazing. Like an opportunity of a lifetime for me. I had so much fun. I loved it. It was so great. I definitely cried, and I might cry again, but listening to Shake It Out and Never Let Me Go. She hasn't played Never Let Me Go in like 10 years, and she played it. It was so good. You guys, I'm gonna cry. But yeah, it was awesome. I loved every second of it. It was so much fun. This album, if you haven't listened to it, definitely worth it. Everybody Scream came out last October. Super good. It's a really cool album. The concept is going a lot back to her roots, but also feels a lot more evolved and a lot more mature how she is, you know. But she was joking that like she's still writing songs about being ghosted and not being replied to, like from Buckle. She played that song. It was really cool. My husband really wanted for her to play Drink Deep, which unfortunately she didn't, but he does love that song in the album, and it's a good song. But it was very, very gothic, very back into her roots. So if you missed the old Florence, which she's been great the whole time, so I don't know what you're talking about. But if you missed the old Florence, you know, go listen to the album. Very spooky. Came out in October, so it was fun. Had a lot of really cool songs. And Florence, she's so beautiful. And like the contrast between her singing voice and her like speaking voice. She's like so quiet and like so delicate and like you know, like she speaks so nice and so quiet. And I'm trying to make fun of her, but then she's singing, she's like, wah! You know, really cool, really awesome. Yeah, I was in tears multiple times, and it was really cool because at the end of it, she was kind of like, "Hey, I want you guys to put your phones down." She was playing "The Dog Days Are Over" and "Free" from Dance Fever. And she's like, everybody put your phones down. We're going to be in the moment. And I can see those phones, so I'm not going to start singing until I see all the phones down. Everybody had to put their phones down. And then she sang and she said, be present, be in the moment. Like, it's great that you get to get a video of me singing and see your favorite artist, whatever. But, like, live in this moment. You're with a bunch of people that love you. You guys love each other. I love you. You love me. Like, let's share this love together. And it was awesome. And I'm glad I didn't get a video of those because it did not want me to be in the moment. But I got the video for the other songs I wanted. So it was really cool. And then I did go to Kilby this weekend. But before we get to that, let's cover some pop culture and some stuff that's coming out. So Arizona trip, 1,000 out of 10. A dream come true. So cool. I loved it. There was, however, we did fly Frontier Airlines because I was trying to, not because, I mean, it's cheaper, but we upgraded a bunch of stuff, so it was a lot more comfortable for us. But unfortunately, there was an accident that happened, and my mother-in-law sent a TikTok as soon as we landed. It was a bumpy flight back, but it was fine. But she sent a TikTok. She's like, you guys landed? We're like, yep. And she's like, okay, watch this. And we're like, oh, okay, we were gonna watch it. And it was about the Frontier airline accident that happened. Crazy. If you don't know about it, what happened was there's an accident in Colorado, I believe. Denver, Colorado, or I think it was Colorado. I don't know if it was the Denver airport, but somebody was on the runway and they got sucked into the engine. Obviously, unfortunately, they did die. They did not survive. But it was confirmed that it was not an employee, not a passenger. And luckily, nobody else died. Some people did get injured, but I'm sure everybody's fine. Maybe not mentally, but I'm sure everybody's fine. But yeah, that did happen. Am I going to fly Frontier ever again? Probably. They were not bad. But it was also just like an hour and a half flight to Arizona. So it was not bad. And we saved. So it was great. But yeah, a very unfortunate accident. Something else that's unfortunate that's going on right now is the hantavirus. Not to be confused with the hantavirus. I know. So the hantavirus, commonly known as hantavirus, the full name is actually orthohantavirus. And it is transmitted from rodents, so rats and all kinds of different rodents, and it's can be contacted or contracted by contact, so via touching contact or inhaling, so smelling it, whatever. And it's a lot to do with their poop and their urine and all that stuff. There are a couple cases in the US. If you don't know, what happened is there's a cruise ship that was going on. As far as I know, it docked in the Netherlands, but it was from people all over the world, including the US. And there's a couple of the first cases of human-to-human contact for the hantavirus. So kind of crazy. Yeah. Usually the contact does come a lot from the rodent to human, and people do quarantine and stuff. But in Brazil, we dealt a lot with the hantavirus because the sewage system is absolutely garbage, and sometimes when there's a lot of rain or there's floods, people have to leave their house or they have to walk in the flood water because the rats droopings and all that stuff is, their poop and their urine is in the sewage. It does come in contact with the water, which comes in contact with people, and they deal with that a lot. But that being said, this is a new strand that has been that's been spreading. So there's not a vaccine or anything or a cure yet. And to be fair, hantavirus has not been eradicated in Brazil either, like the other, because it's been in Asia and the Americas. It's been here for a while, but this is a brand new strand. So maybe this is my chance to become Charlie D'Amelio, but hopefully not. Hopefully we'll all be good. And if you're sick, stay home and try not to spread to anybody, even if it's not the hantavirus. Just let's all have a good summer and be healthy. Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. The world's kind of crazy right now, but luckily there's a couple things for you to look forward to, song-wise and movie-wise, I guess. So, movie. We got a new Lord of the Rings movie that was announced called It's Lord of the Rings. It's the Nazgul King, or Nazgul King, I think is just that's the title for now. Which, if you don't know, if you're not familiar with Lord of the Rings, there's like a ring that has a power. Actually, you find out there's 9 rings that have different powers and they do different things. And anyway, but people kind of become seduced by the power and usually become corrupted by it. And there's this really big bad guy named Sauron, and basically the Nazgul kings or the Nazgul orders, like they're the servants of Sauron, and they're just bad guys that were corrupted by the 9 rings and by their power and seduced, and they turn into what they call the ring wraiths, which is a tongue twister for me. But the ring wraiths are basically the people that were corrupted by the rings, but they turn into this like undying being, basically undead being with a lot of power. They borrow it from the rings, whatnot. So I'm excited for that. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan or a Tolkien fan, or you just like medieval stuff and fiction stuff, really cool, really cool. I'm excited to see what it's gonna be like. I don't know when it's gonna come out. I don't know the plot. I just know, based on the title, that it's gonna involve these bad guys that used to work with Sauron. So kind of cool. And then let's move on to music. Ariana Grande, she's got a new album coming out. The name of the album is Petal, and it comes out July 31st. And there's a song coming out the end of this month, the 29th, called Hate That I Made You Love Me. So exciting for that. The visualizer looks really cool. Or I guess the visuals that you see on Instagram and stuff, they all look really cool. I like the pictures and they all look very soft and delicate. And I really loved Eternal Sunshine. Really good album. Very vulnerable, very raw. I just really like how she was open about her relationships and how she feels. And, she's growing up a lot. And she's been famous for a lot of the time too. And just kind of like she had a lot of really hard things happen in her life with her relationships and whatnot, but she's always been trying to be positive and eating disorders and whatnot. I'm not here to spread anything, but yeah, she's been through a lot, and that album, I feel like it was very cathartic, and a lot of people resonated with it, with like letting go of bad relationships or not feeling loved enough or learning to love yourself, or all those kind of different things. So go listen to Eternal Sunshine if you haven't. And then Malcolm Todd is also releasing a new album. Malcolm Todd is really cool. I love his sound. He's basically like alternative indie. If you never heard of Malcolm Todd, go listen to him. He's pretty chill. If I had to describe his vibe, it's kind of like a nerdy, cool guy that knows how to like shred on the guitar pretty much. He's really cool. I love Malcolm Todd. I feel so cool when I listen to Malcolm Todd, and it's kind of fine. But yeah, so I really like it. And then, yeah, his new album is called Do That Again. And I believe it's coming out June 5th. Yeah, it's coming out June 5th. And there's a couple songs that are out that I listened to it. One's called Breath and the other one's called I Saw Your Face. Go check them out. 10 out of 10 recommend. He's a really chill guy. This album's going to be really good. I'm excited. And then also with another album, we got Gracie Abrams. She's doing a new album called Daughter from Hell. Exciting. I love the picture in the album already. And there's a song that came out named Hit the Wall. I listened to it once, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. It was really cool. I liked it. It was very, very much Gracie Abrams. Very in her zone. If you know her work, you kind of can guess what it's going to sound like, but I love her voice, and she's maturing a lot, and people say that her voice, it's kind of like whispering and stuff, but I don't agree, or like, I don't know, some people are just hating on her voice, but I love her, and she's really cool. I love a lot of her songs, so she makes hits, she gets the bag. And then, as well as releasing a song, was Charlie XCX released this song out of left field called Rock Music. Really cool. I listened to it once, so once again, take this with a grain of salt, but I listened to it once and it was good. The lyrics feel a little like 2012, 2013. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's just like for me, it's like the contrast of like the digression between her Wuthering Heights album, because that one, the lyricism, the composition, like everything in it just feels so intentional and so like such a classical work of art. And the rock music lyrically, it was just kind of like, nah. Like if you compare like Die For You or Chains of Love, So I know she was going for a specific sound with the album for Wuthering Heights, and I love that album. So let's see what rock music is going to be all about. I need to listen to it again. I only listened to that once, and I only listened to Hit the Wall once. But I'll give you guys more of my thoughts about it later when I listen to it more. But it was really cool. I mean, it's cool to see Charlie delving into different, realms. There's definitely guitars in that song, so definitely rock. But yeah, let's see. It kind of reminds me of like when Demi Lovato went rock, except that her rock albums were so cool. She's so cool. Anyway, love Demi Lovato. But yeah, she was really cool. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's it. That's all I have for pop music and movies. So just keep an eye out for that. I did play Exit 8, if you know what that is. It's a video game where you kind of have to identify the anomalies. You're basically on a subway station and you're introduced to this one hallway that has like very specific features, and you're supposed to identify when it's normal and when there's something different. And then if you do get it right, then you get to go to the next level and you get out of the station by getting to level 8. So kind of frustrating, but kind of fun. It can be kind of frustrating when you're like, oh my gosh, there's nothing wrong. Let me go, to the next level. And there's something wrong that I didn't notice. Some things are obvious and creepy. And I heard the movie for that was good. I haven't watched that yet. So I'm keep an eye out for that because I know it already came out. It's probably out in the movie theaters already, but I wanted to watch that. So once it's in streamings, I'll watch that. But now let's get into the cool stuff, the thick of it. So this episode we're gonna talk a lot about music because that's been my last 2 weeks. I got to see Florence the Machine, and then this last Friday I got to go to Kilby Block Party. If you don't know what that is, that's a music festival in Utah. That's a 3-day music festival that they moved. It used to be like right around Mother's Day. I'm like, you guys, come on, please. But it's kind of like a Coachella, like I said, for Utah. But it has a lot of indie and like smaller artists, and a lot of local bands get to play here. But there's also some big artists. The first year I went was 2023. Funny story, I got these free tickets because I was on campus at Salt Lake Community College, and I just came out of my therapy session. This guy's like, hey, you want to be part of a TikTok? And I'm like, sure. And he's like, oh, if you do, I'll give you 2 free tickets for 3-day passes for Kilby Block Party. And I was like, okay. I never really cared for it because the prices to me were always outrageous. But I'm so glad I got them because that year the lineup was crazy. I got to see Caroline Polachek, I got to see Kuko, I got to see Remy Wolf, Alex G, Japanese Breakfast played for the first time that I saw them live. Dominic Fike was there. I did not get to see Faye Webster that year. I did go to her later, but I didn't get to see her that year at Kilby. And we had poor planning, so I ended up not we were tired and it was free, so we just didn't stay for the headliners that year. I know they had Yeah and a bunch of really cool headliners, but I had a lot of fun and I loved that lineup. I got to see Hippocampus also played. I got to see a lot of really cool bands that I liked and that I had listened to and that I never thought I'd have the chance of seeing. So Caroline Polachek was out of this world. I love her. She was so cool. Her set was so awesome. It was great. So this year the lineup was also really cool. So if you didn't know, the headliners was Friday it was Turnstile, Saturday was the XX, and then Sunday it was Lord. But Sunday they also had Haley Williams. So that was really cool. Everybody was super excited for those two. So yeah, naturally Sunday was like super busy. But I really liked it. Friday we went to see Snail Mail. Love them. So cool. Beach Bunny. We kind of just sat on the lawn for that one. It was really cool. So Snail Mail, Beach Bunny, and then Japanese Breakfast for the second time ever. And my husband stood in line for like an hour to get this shirt for he got one for himself and one for me. But I stood in there for like an hour and I was getting food for us because I was like, there's no way you're doing this for me right now. You just like, I'm gonna get us food. Like, you're crazy. But thank you, husband. I love the shirt. It's so cool. And I love Japanese breakfast. She's awesome. She's Asian. She's got really cool music, really cool sound. She also is very poetic. She talks a lot about her relationship with her mom that died, unfortunately, but she's just really cool and like very relatable and kind of trying to find yourself, you know. That aren't we all trying to find ourselves? So yeah, it was really cool. I love Japanese breakfast. And then Turnstile played Friday, and I heard they were really cool. So if you like to shred, if you like to listen to rock and a little bit of hard rock, I'd say they're really cool. They've been around for a while, so their old stuff, their new stuff, I really like it a lot. We didn't stay for that, unfortunately, but I heard that it was really, really good. People loved it. And then Saturday, there's Lucy Dacus. There's a couple of other people that we knew. I think it was American football and stuff like that. But we went to the XX, and the XX, oh my gosh, the XX were so cool. I've been listening to them since I was like 13, 14. I was like deep in the trenches of, not deep in the trenches, but I was deep in my Tumblr phase where I was like buying alien shirts, you know, to wear and being like, I'm too weird for this world. Like, you know, in my Tumblr phase, listening to Halsey and of Monsters and Man and all that stuff. So it was just really cool. It was really awesome. The XX are really cool. I like them a lot. And yeah, I like them a lot. If I had to describe the XX for you guys, it's kind of like if you imagine if like the Matrix had a band, and if the Matrix had a band and they took that band out of the Matrix, and you're like, what? Kind of like that vibe, the sunglasses, the trench coats, but their sound is very unique. They're just really cool. I love Romy, I love Oliver. They're really cool people, and they know their sound. And when I was listening to them when I was 14, 15, you know, on my Tumblr phase, I'm like, they're so cool, they're so unique, they're so mysterious, nobody knows them, but they have a sound, they know what they like, they're great. They played really cool songs. They played I Dare You, On Hold, the intro song was the last one. They played Islands, Angels, like so many cool songs. Say Something Loving, it was awesome. It was 10 out of 10. I recommend. The vibes were immaculate. People were so nice. It was so cool. Yeah, it was crazy. I will talk about this though. A lot of people were pushing, and Utahns, I need you to do better. Like, there's a lot of really rude people that were pushing and that were not being nice and not making space and trying to shoulder check people and make it like we're all trying to make to the front of the line. Obviously, we want to be up close to the stage, but please be nice. That's the only thing I didn't like about this year. But other than that, it was great. The XX were awesome. And then Sunday, of course, we got to see Turn Flip. We got there for Turn Flip. They're really cool. I like them a lot. They're really cool. I like their indie rock vibe. It was cool. They remind me a lot of the Backseat Lovers, but really cool. And then we were there for Hayley Williams. She was amazing. I know it's her solo project. Some people are maybe expecting to hear Paramore songs. I don't blame them. I would have loved if I got to listen to some of the Paramore songs, but that's okay. And it was her solo project, and it's not her first solo project because she's done a couple albums by herself, but this one kind of really took off and people were paying attention to it, and it was her first festival by herself, she said. So it was really cool, and it was really neat to see how humble she was about the whole experience, because she wasn't treating this like as like, oh, you already know who I am, and like, you know me from Paramore, and like I'm already famous, so like, you know, worship me type of deal. She approached it very humbly. She's like, wow, I can't believe so many people showed up for me and like this project and to listen to these songs, and that you guys like actually memorize them and sing them with me. So she was very like surprised, but she loved it, and she was very humble, and I really like that. And her voice, she's a genius. Musically, she's a genius. But I feel like this project, again, I'm probably gonna say this about everyone, but it's very her. It's very Hayley Williams. You can tell that she was in control of the sound. She did what she wanted with each song. Parachute was awesome. Glum was awesome. My husband really liked True Believer. Really cool. Um, Ego Death at the Bachelor. Keep that in. Ego Death at Bachelorette Party. Really cool song too. You probably heard that one. But yeah, it was really awesome. She was really great. And it was raining a little bit. It was so cold on Sunday. Friday was so nice. The weather was so nice on Friday. And then it gradually got worse. Saturday night was not too bad. We were there and it was fine. I was just wearing this shirt and like whatever, and I was fine. But then once Sunday came, we were freezing. It was windy, it was cold, and it started raining before Haley Williams, and it started raining after Haley Williams, and then it started raining right before Lord came in. And oh my gosh, you guys, Lord, it was so cool. It was everything it was hyped up to be. It was my first time seeing Lord live after all these years, listening to her since 2014, whatever. She was so cool. And this album, the album's called Virgin. If you haven't listened, go listen to it. Also go listen to Haley Williams' album, 10 out of 10. But the vibes were just like immaculate. Everybody was so ready. Older people, younger people, some high schoolers, like everybody was so ready to be there for Lord. And mind you, we checked on the app and it said there were 6,300 people for Haley Williams and then 6,900 for Lord. The day of, Haley Williams jumped to 9,000 people confirmed, and then Lord had over 10,000 people confirmed to watch it. And somehow my husband and I, when people left for Turn Flip, we ended up getting there for Haley Williams, and we got closer to the stage. And then people that didn't want to stay there for Lord left, so we got even closer. I had a blast. I had a great view. It was awesome. But yeah, Lord, musical genius as well. She's been famous for like half of her life. She's like 28, 20 something. She's like around my age. So kind of crazy to think about that, because she's been famous since she was like 16, 15. So almost half of her life she's been famous, and she just, been under a lot of scrutiny, and she's experienced a lot of things and a lot of growing pains, and she's become this really cool artist. And I think this album really delves into like who she truly is. I feel like it just really shows who she's become as an artist, and she was very vulnerable, very raw. I don't know if you know, but like the image for the album, album cover is like an X-ray, and you can see like an IUD in there, and like a bunch of different things. And I feel like the album was kind of her being very vulnerable, very transparent. She talked about in the Zane Lone interview, and she told us that too during like her performance. She felt like this album was very much her, and it was her truest self in this album, even though it's been like a really crazy year. But yeah, she opened up with Hammer, which is the first song of the album, and then she played Royals, which everybody went crazy for, and then she played Broken Glass. And to me personally, it felt like the energy shifted as soon as she started singing Broken Glass. You could just tell everybody was so earnestly relating to the music and relating to her, and the power that she carried during that performance was great. It was awesome. So yeah, no, it was really cool. It was really cool to see her perform. And at the end, of course, she performed Ribs. To experience that live, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got to see that live. Like, that's crazy, right? That's crazy. Like, you're the only friend I need. I can't sing, so I'm sorry. But guys, I wish I could go back. And I have videos. I was in that moment and I was present, but I had to get a video with my camera. I got it with my little camera, so we'll probably put that in there, like a little snippet. Herself, but it was so cool listening to Ribs live when it was raining, like it was like drizzling. Top tier experience, and I'm so glad I got to experience that. So On and all, Kilby was fun. I had a lot of fun. I would honestly rate it a 9.5 out of 10 this year. It was really cool. Maybe even a 10 out of 10. What am I kidding? Like, I had so much fun. I love music. I love music festivals. It was great. And the food was awesome. Shout out to my coworker Katya. She had a kettle corn stand there. I have to plug in later, but she has a kettle corn business. 10 out of 10. And yeah, saw some other people I know. So it was really fun. My husband had a blast too, and we're way more organized this year. So it was great. And that leads us perfectly into our theme, like music. I went to Florence, I went to Kilby, and you probably listen to music every day. And if you don't ever listen to music, I think you might be a sociopath. Not diagnosing, just speaking from experience. People listen to music, all kind of genres, all kind of different artists. Some people are very eclectic. Some people know exactly what they like and stick to it. Rock, punk rock, country, hip hop, rap, pop, alternative, indie, experimental, jazz, blues, classical music, like K-pop, J-pop. There's so many different kinds of music. Bossa nova, or bossa nova. Oh my gosh, bachata, um, tango. There's like so many kinds of different music. Reggaeton, like there's so many genres and artists and music. I feel like it's one of those universal languages and universal experiences. You can always ask somebody if they listen to this song that's really popular, and those, a lot of people will say yes. Or this artist, of course. Coldplay, Beyonce, Rihanna, Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter, Charlie Puth. Like, that was a sneak. That was a sneak in there. But you've heard these names. Lord, you probably heard Hayley Williams, Paramore. So many, like, it's vast. Music is so vast. That's the point I'm trying to get. There's so many different genres, so many different artists, from biggest to smallest to local bands to maybe your own band, And music, I feel like it's a very important portrait. Sorry, let me say that right. I think music is a very important portrait of life and culture, especially here in America. I think music says a lot about a person. If you go through each other's, Spotify Wrapped or Apple Replay, you can see what they listen to. You can kind of get a glimpse into who they are, what they like to listen to. And, there's a reason why people like listening to music. And we'll get into that. So a little music history. So music dates all the way back to, and I'm going to say this with a little bit of confidence, probably even to like the prehistoric times. Neanderthals probably had music. I don't know. But what I do remember from music theory is that my music theory class, we talked about the Gregorian chants. Thank you, Saint Gregory the Great. He was just a pope. He was pope, or he was like an important Catholic person, but it was around the 9th or the 10th century. The Catholic Church was very prominent, and they had these, what they call Gregorian chants, which you probably heard, you may have not heard, but they are monophones, not homophobes, but monophones, songs that don't have an instrument playing with them, they don't have a melody playing with them. It's just a lot of people or one person singing, and it's not bound by a time measurement. Like, it's not a 4x4 or whatever, how we've categorized music now. So there's not a time, what is it called, guys? I promise I know music theory. I play the piano, but there's not a time signature, specific binding the music. So am I gonna give you a little snippet? Maybe, but I sound terrible. But it's kind of like when they're like, oh, we're just kind of like chanting, pretty much Gregorian chant. And that's kind of like where music started, especially in the Western Hemisphere. That's kind of where it graduated into like classical music and inspired the greats like Beethoven, Vivaldi, Chopin, Yo-Yo Ma. Like, it just kind of started with the Gregorian chant and kind of evolved into classical music, and then all the kind of different musics we have today. Um, so yeah, if you're not a music history nerd like me, you're probably be like, well, I don't care about that. Why do I care about music then? Well, you care about music because music, it's engaging and it tickles your brain. And I mean that literally. So, music, what is music? It's basically sound waves or vibrations that once they hit your ear, your cochlear or whatever, I can't remember, it kind of turns those vibrations and sound waves into electrical electric signals or electric synapses in your brain that translate that into music and engage all kind of different parts of your brain. And I'm not saying this from memory. I'm gonna go ahead and read this because I did do my research. But basically, the music, I there's a study conducted by Harvard that says that music is basically a full body workout for the mind. It does involve the auditory cortex, meaning that's the part of your brain that identifies the pitch, the tone, the rhythm of the music. It engages your brain to release dopamine as well, which is probably one of the reasons why you love music, because you get to listen to it and you get dopamine and you're happy, you know? It also engages your limbic system, which is the one in charge of, or your amygdala, which is in charge of processing your emotions, and that's why the tone or the vibe of the music will make you feel different emotions: happy, cheerful, excited, sad, melancholic. All these emotions are tied to music. Music is very powerful. And then, as well as your hippocampus, like I said, really good band, but hippocampus, which affects your memory. It's tied to putting together like music with specific like events or memories. So that's why if there's a music playing or a song playing and you're like, oh, this makes me think of that day or that event, or you play music so you can make memories. You know what I mean? Like, so many people are like, me at least, I'm like, I want to have the perfect playlist for the party, or the perfect playlist for hanging out at the park, or the perfect playlist for this car ride or whatever, which it's not always a requirement. Sometimes you're allowed to just press shuffle and enjoy. But if you're like me, sometimes you're like, hey, I have 300 playlists for all the kind of different things. When I was in Arizona, I wanted to feel like the perfect like beach, like pool day vibe. So I put together a playlist for that. And it was great. And I enjoyed. And I was tanning and I was having so much fun. But yeah, it ties a lot of music to moments and memories. So, which is really cool. So if you listen to a song and it makes you think of your ex, or it makes you think of your dad, or whatever, or a fun moment. So, guys, always have music playing. You make great memories. Like this whole weekend will forever be embedded in my mind. Seeing Florence the Machine embedded in my mind. But I distinctly remember when I think of The Dog Days Are Over by Florence the Machine, I remember listening to that on my Discman that my mom gave me, and I still have the Discman. And I remember my friend showing me the music video for that, and immediately I was like, "Whoa," you know. So yeah, and then also engages with your motor, like part of your brain that's in charge of the motor responses. So if you're snapping or clapping or thumping or humming or whatever involuntarily when you're listening to music, and I know I do that a lot, and I'm so sorry, Carla. I do that all the time. But yeah, it's your brain activating it. If you feel like involuntarily doing things, yeah, your brain's processing the music and it's having fun. And you should too. Like, it's great. The music is awesome for your brain and your body. And that's why there's even a, you know, part of the medical field that is based on music treatment. What is it called? It's like musical therapy. Sorry. Yeah, musical therapy. And it can help with your like regaining some motor movement, like I said, involuntarily like snapping or tapping or whatever. It also helps people, like I was saying with the hippocampus, with Alzheimer's, to bring memories back, tied to some people. Some songs are tied to some people or some memories or a time in their lives when they were younger. It's been proven that it can help people with Alzheimer's to remember things. Like, don't cry, but like Coco. If you've seen the movie Coco, you remember the grandma, she remembers the song. That's the only thing she remembers. And then Manuel starts playing it and she remembers it. And then she's like, oh, Papa, whatever. Papi. But yeah, so don't cry. But yeah, that's proven to help people remember things. So music is awesome. Me personally, I've been playing music since I've been involved with music since I was very young, but I've been playing the piano since I was 9. And I fell in love with classical music. I loved playing. I hated being like a jukebox and playing, oh, play Coldplay, play this. But there's some, modern songs that I've grown to love. I love playing some of the songs from the soundtrack of Begin Again. Really good movie. I specifically love that song. Lost Stars by Adam Levine and Keira Knightley. Love playing that on the piano. Love playing Alicia Keys. I love playing Adele. Like, I learned a couple Paramore songs. Like, I love learning to play songs. And I'll gladly do it. Just so we can have great memories and have fun times. And some of them are really fun. But I really had this deep-rooted love for classical music. And it was great. And I love the different time signatures, the different rhythm changes, the difficulty level that can increase and, make me challenge my range of motion. It was awesome. And it just makes me feel great. It makes me feel accomplished. And sometimes listening to it, you're like, okay, Beethoven, like, or like, okay, Chopin, Vivaldi. I love Vivaldi. I do not play around with the Four Seasons. Go listen to that. But anyway, yeah, music is awesome. And music carried me through my whole life. There's moments that I'm sure you can think of where all you wanted to do was go to your room or listen to some music. Or, like, I don't know, the first thing you did when you got out of the house was put headphones on and listen to music. Or when you get to the car and listening to music all the time can be a little distracting, can be a little overtaking. Like, please be careful on the road. Accidents can happen when you listen to music too loud and you don't listen, or you're not paying attention to your surroundings. Like, just be careful. But it can be a little too much. But like in my family, I was known as, the musical guy and the one that's always listening to music. And I love listening to music and it just makes me feel great. And that's the dopamine. But also just knowing people's stories. Like, there's so many storytelling that happens through music, through the harmony, through the composition of the different instruments, through even the time signature itself, or even knowing what kind of key is on, if it's on the bass clef or the treble clef, or like, just, music is very intentional. And sometimes people don't make them as intentional, but music itself, I feel like it's very intentional. You create music because you want to. You create music because you want to express yourself, because there's something itching to get out. And you listen to music because you relate to that. A lot of people relate to being able to express that. Or there's some people that don't know how to say things or don't know how to name that feeling. And for me, it was poetry. Poetry helped me to put that down. But music has a lot of poetry. Music has a lot of science, a lot of physics involved in it too. But some people just relate to that feeling where, oh, there's a song that I wish I wrote, and it says everything I felt in that moment, or during that breakup, or like expressed how happy and cheerful I was during that trip, or just how much fun I was having, or even like when you're getting ready to go out with your friends, like girls' night, boys' night, like, you're getting ready and you're getting turned up, you're getting pumped, and you want to have fun and party. Like, music can help you in so many ways to be in touch with your emotions and your feelings, and you're very intentional about what you listen to. And I just love that music is this universal language. And I'm not here to, yuck anyone else's yums, but, listen to what you like, listen to what you want. But also be intentional. Like, know that some songs are gonna make you feel a specific way, and some songs maybe will help you feel, go process your emotions and help you feel through things. But also I know, and this is like not controversial, but like it's my own opinion. It can be hard sometimes to not just use music as a form of escapism. Like, you sometimes just, my therapist told me this, you just have to sit on your hands and do nothing, you know? I know for me, a lot of times music helped me through the tough places I was in, or tough situations, or fights, or whatever. And sometimes I just wanted to go listen to music or play music. It's great. And like I said, it helps you process your emotions and deal with things. But also, don't use that as like a form of not dealing with them, you know? Like, oh, this happened, I'm just gonna go listen to music and draw my feelings out. Like, no. Feel things, process them, and be yourself. And if you have to cry, cry. And if you don't want to cry, don't cry. But do you and process your emotions and be there for yourself and be present. And music can help you do that. Be present. Music can help you study. I used to listen to a lot of lo-fi when I was studying, or classical music. Like, like people listen to all kinds of different things. And music brings people together. People that are working on the music, composing, people that are producing, or people that are throwing a party. Like, you're there for the music, the dancing. Music is great. Or an orchestra, symphony. Like, there's so many people together for the ballet, for theater. Like, music is such a important part of people's lives, I feel like, and it tells so much about our culture. A lot, like I said, with lyricism as well. Some artists are so intentional about the lyrics that they put in, and rhymes, and it can tell a lot about the current times that we live in. And some songs are just timeless, that they're relevant for everything that's going on. Some people put politics in their music, which is great. Like, more than ever, I feel like it's time for people to speak up and speak out. And I'm not here to be political, but music sometimes can be political, and I feel like music is just another form that people find to express what they cannot express any other way. And if that's your thing, go ahead and do it. Making music is awesome. Me personally, I took an AP music theory class and I had to compose. I absolutely hate composing. It's the worst thing ever in the world. Absolutely hate it. But it can be fun. And I mean, there's a formula to it, and there's different things you can do, and music theory, circles of fifths, whatever. Not here to be boring, but I don't like it. I don't think I could make a living out of it. I don't think I would survive just doing that. I absolutely hate being stuck and being like, oh my gosh, what do I do now? How do I resolve this chord? Anyway, not nerding out, but it's a great creative process too. And I hope that you enjoy listening to your music. And I hope you go to music festivals and go to concerts and be there with people that share that taste with you, and people that also love the same artists as you, and expand your horizons. Like, don't be scared to listen into new things. You don't have to be that person that, oh, I listen to everything. Like, I love all kinds of music. No, you don't. I have some songs I don't like from genres that I love. Like, there's some pop songs I absolutely hate. There's some rock songs I absolutely hate. There's some country songs that I'm not a big country guy, but there's some country songs I really like. To me, it all depends on the message and how it feels. I'm a sucker for a good beat. Like, especially for live music, drums and guitar take my soul away. I'm like, oh my gosh, this drums is so good. Like, yeah. So, but yeah, just music can help you in so many different ways, and some of them only you know how. And I hope that you never stop listening to music. And I hope you keep being intentional about the music you listen to. I hope that you have fun listening to music. I hope you share music with people. I hope you're open to listening to other people's music. Like, when I go out to lunch with my coworkers, I always take requests. I'm like, if you guys want to play something, we'll play something. If not, I'll just play, whatever I want to play. But I'm open. I'll listen to anything at least once. And if you like it, you like it. And some things you learn to love, some things you never do, and that's okay. Music is a place where people definitely can be free, and they can definitely be themselves, and there's space for everyone. And music is welcoming, all encompassing. So yeah, have fun, listen to music. I had such a blast at Kilby. absolutely accomplished the dream watching Florence the Machine. And I cannot express enough how grateful I am for having music in my life and for being able to play the piano. And I taught the piano to a little girl that I know, and seeing her growing up playing and singing and playing recitals, like there was something so rewarding about sharing that with people and helping them find their love in music and whatever that is for you. Maybe you're listening to Olivia Dean in the kitchen with somebody you love making a meal, or maybe you're listening to Bob Marley chilling out at your front porch and just having fun with your friends, or Queen when you're playing a game, and don't be afraid to ask, what song is this? Who plays this? I kind of like this. Like, let me get into it. Music was meant to be shared, and music is meant for everyone. So, next time we'll grab a cup and talk again, but until then, have so much fun. Listen to so much music. Let me know what you like or don't like about this podcast. Subscribe, like, follow, share, and especially share love and music, because in these times we definitely need a lot of love, a lot of empathy, and music can help with that. So yeah, bye. I don't know what's going on. Hello? Mom? I'm scared. Oh. I accidentally sat on the button. Okay, cool.